guys, this is Svein on the SRS channel back again, and today we're gonna have a look at this 1/12 scale Mortal Kombat Shao Kahn figure from Storm Collectibles, and the first one we got was from the Mortal Kombat 2 or Mortal Kombat 3 game. This one is from the Mortal Kombat 9 game, and yeah, as you can see, it's a very large box, and I wonder how we're gonna do the 360 on this one. At least this is the front of the box. You can't see much because of the glare here, but there he is, and there's a huge throne in the back. I can already tell his helmet has fallen off in transit, but yeah. Oh man, it's sticking out of the shelf. Here's a picture of the side of the box, and it's catching my microphone. Here is the back of the box with the various promo shots here. We'll get back to the back side later. Here's the other side with the picture from the front continuing around there. And try to get the top here. No, it's not gonna happen. But trust me, it's a Mortal Kombat logo on the top there. On the bottom it says Mortal Kombat. And moving a bit closer on the box here. Here is a bio. If you want to read it, you can just put the video on pause, and I'm sure it's some sort of typo in there somewhere, as per usual with Storm Collectibles. But anyway, let's get this box open and have a look at the contents. Jeez, well, this ain't gonna work. Let's try another way. How are we gonna do this? Well, let's try to give it a shot here. This is the bottom tray, by the way, and it's still huge. And I'm gonna try to show you how it comes packaged. If I can catch it on camera. But there is the throne. It comes in, it's actually 3 parts. It's the horns that attach to the skull, and there's this bottom base plate here which the throne sits on. And this is how it's supposed to come packaged, but the horn on the right was upside down in the box, while the horn on the left was laying on top of the horn on the right there. So it's been having a rough time in transit. I also discovered a couple of loose chain bits down there that might be spare chains, or they're supposed to go on the holes on the side there. We'll find out. But let me assemble this throne, and I'll be right back. Well, let's give this another go then. Inside the bottom tray you get these 2 extra chain pieces that goes through the holes on the side there. You get the horns. Let's have a look at this one first. It is really nicely sculpted and painted all around, and they're keyed, so you shouldn't have any problem figuring out which skull going to which side. And that notch, or that triangular piece there, is placed differently on both of them, as you can see, and the notch on the throne is on the front top on this side, and it's on the back top side on the other side, which means that the horns are going in this way on the skull. You also get this bloodstained platform piece here for the throne itself. It's all plastic. And there's some texture to the surface here, and it's painted, and yeah, all the way around. There's the bottom of it, and here is the throne piece itself. And the throne itself is it's huge, and it's really nicely painted and sculpted, as you can see. There you see the notches where the horn is supposed to be placed. Got some chains with skulls on the sides there. You need to adjust them a little bit, but that is possible to do. The patterns and sculpt and paint goes all the way around. Here's the back of the throne. And most of this feels like a hard type of rubber or plastic. And it's hollow. Got some skulls, some chains on the other side too. And yeah, assembly wise it's pretty straightforward. You just take the base platform and you put the throne on it. So there you have that. And let's see if I can manage to struggle quite a bit with this part though. There's a like a locking point. There's a hollowed out ring shape inside the horn there, as you can see, and you got the other half of it on the horn sides there. So it might take some doing to get this on. We'll see. This one went in quite nicely. Let's try the other one. It went in quite nicely too. And then you take the chain pieces here. You feed them through the holes. Excuse the music outside, it's festival day this weekend over here, so people are getting drunk and it's on a Saturday as well. So you might hear some music in the background every now and then. But here is the finished assembled throne piece. And we can try to do a 360 of it here. It's a very huge piece. So there you have that, and thank God we finished with the first tray of the box. So let's move over to the second tray. And yeah, this ain't gonna work any much better than with the first tray. It's huge, and there's also, if I can get it around here, as with all the other Mortal Kombat figures from Storm, you have this giant insert piece in the box, and I can't get everything in frame. But if you're gonna keep at least one of these backdrop pieces from the entire set of Mortal Kombat figures, this should be it. It's the biggest one and it's the best one for photography. And yeah, if you're gonna keep one, keep this one. And that's it for the backdrop piece. So let's see if, as I told you in the beginning of the video, I could already tell the helmet was lying loose in the box there, and it still is. I just removed the top cover piece because it would be impossible to remove it once inside my shelf here. But I'm gonna try to show you. There's how the extra set of hands come packaged. You have the figure sitting in a throne pose there, and the helmet is laying right on top of him there. You get a sledgehammer, you get a spear, and you get like a energy form spear there. And yeah, let me get everything out of the tray and we have a better look at it. And here we have everything out of the box. Let's go quickly through the accessories and stuff first and leave the figure for last. You get a sledgehammer, nicely painted in silver, gold and brown, with a spike on the end here. There's a Mortal Kombat logo on the side of the hammer, a spike on the top there, and in some angles in the light you can tell it's turning blue, and it's really nice to look at. Very nicely done. Nice sculpt, nice paint. You also get his spear, and it's the same with this one too. It turns blue in some angles in the light. Really nicely done. And it's pointy, it's hard plastic. And you get this translucent green version. Nicely done as well. And you get a bunch of hands. And we start with the extra head sculpts here. This one has a grin on it. Nicely painted. Nicely sculpted. All the way around. Barely see a seam line on the top there, but it's not very noticeable. Got some battle scarring on it too, as a ruthless emperor should have. Then you get this screaming version, painted and sculpted, otherwise the same as the first one. You get a pair of splayed out hands. Mine does have a couple of runaway dots under there, but it's not too bad. Nicely sculpted and painted with gold and brown. You get a pair of grasping hands, painted the same way, nicely sculpted. You get a pair of like a reaching out hands, slightly more open than the grasping hands, or are they? Now there is a difference to them. I thought they were the same for a second there, but now there is a difference to them. You get a pair of pointing hands. And you get a pair of weapon holding hands. And that's it for the accessories. Let's have a better look at the figure itself. And here we have Shao Kahn, his appearance in the Mortal Kombat 9 game. And it's quite a bit different from the first Shao Kahn figure we got. And yeah, he looks awesome, to say the least. And I'm gonna do a quick overlook on the figure here. There's the back. Really nicely done. Now, remove the helmet for a second. And it's really awesome with the skull on the front there, nicely painted. Got the gold and the silver in the helmet, some black there. And this entire helmet is soft rubber, as you can see. Got some weathering to it. And on the figure itself, it's brown or red, gold. You got some horns and stuff on the armor there, silver on the buckles, got the skull in the front there, same with the arm guards there with the horns and everything. And you got some chainmail looking things at his thighs here, and they are separate loose pieces that are probably attached to the upper parts of his hips to follow with the movements there. Get the same theme on the armor on the legs there. And there's like, yeah, there's ball hinges on the ankles and the wrists as usual. There's a double jointed elbow giving you a 90 degrees swivel at the top of the arm there. Got a butterfly joint, you can move up and down, back and forth. Chest piece is rubber as per usual. There's a pin with a ball on the top and bottom in the neck there. You can look down, you can look up, side to side, and I can't stay in focus there. And there's a seam in the upper body there hidden by the armor, but you can move around at the top joint there. That's a ball joint. Same down in the hip here, there's a ball joint as well. Arms can do a full 360 forward and back if you get around the armor piece here. Legs can move forward, back. There's a double jointed knee giving you a little bit more than 90 degrees. There's a swivel at the top of the hip there, and you can get the ankle this much down, not so much up. There is a toe joint there. There's an ankle pivot, and yeah, the articulation on these figures are in principle really nice, but there are flaws, and I've mentioned it before. You have a double joint with, it's not really pretty, that hinge part in there, and you don't get more than 90 degrees bend out of it. So why a double joint when you could have gotten away with a single joint and it would have looked better? Same with the knees. Forgot to have a better look at the head sculpt it comes with. It's right out of the box. Really nicely done too. And helmet, of course, it just fits on like so, and shine a light in there. You can see the eyes. It looks like the eyes are painted with some sort of reflective paint that makes them shine, or basically glow, when the light hits them. Can you see that? Anyway, really cool. So there's that. Let me get the other Shao Kahn and a couple of other figures, and we have a comparison. Hold on. And here we have a selection of the Mortal Kombat figures so far. Have Kintaro on the very left side here, the first Shao Kahn on the very right side, and Baraka as a representation of the normal or average sized fighter. And here, these three other dudes, they are huge in comparison. And yeah, it's not even funny. I wouldn't want to be this shorter guy here. I would grab my nuts and make a run for it. But yeah, that's how the scale compared to the small guys. And as you can see, even though he's a huge guy, it's still like a head or two shorter than Kintaro on the left here. And these guys are so huge and top heavy that I'm using stands for the big guys here. With the exception of Motaro, he got 4 legs, so he can stand on his own. But I've had Goro faceplant on my collection room floor a number of times, and I don't want that to happen too many times. So anyway, here we have the 2 Shao Kahn figures. If I can adjust the camera here. And at first glance, these 2 looks about the same in body, build, and height and everything. They kind of look the same, but they are in fact 2 different sculpts in the bodies. Apparently there is a difference in the armor itself, but if you look very closely at these 2 body types, you can see that the Mortal Kombat 9 version, the new version, is slightly more slim built than the first version. There's a little bit less mass. It's not much, but it's a little bit less mass in the body of this figure compared to the first figure. And there's also, if I remove the helmet on this one, and I remove the helmet on this one, you can tell that this face is more narrow, while this face is more wider, making it more roundly shaped. This new face here is taller. So the biggest difference, most obvious difference, is in the shape of the head sculpts here. Even though the details on the forehead on them are quite different, and the face expression obviously quite different on these two, you can really see that there is a difference in how the head is sculpted. The new one seemed to top up a little bit on the back, like it's more rounded off in the profile on the old one compared to the new one. But yeah, the biggest difference is actually in the head sculpt, in my opinion. If you look aside from the obvious changes like the armor here, then sculpt wise, the head has the biggest difference. And here we have Shao Kahn sitting on the throne. That didn't sound too good, but yeah, here is sitting, and it looks really nice on display. The thing is, I don't know how the heck I'm gonna find room for this throne. The shelf I display my figures on, it is probably, I don't think it's even as deep as the base is steep from this side to the back side, and that's not including the front part here. It will be sticking out on my shelf, I'm pretty sure of it. So I'm not sure where I'm gonna display this beast. It's a shame to leave the throne in the box. I have the throne for my first Shao Kahn on the shelf too, and in itself it's just a beautiful piece, and it's just a shame putting it back in the box. So I need to find room for it. What I'm not going to do, that I did with the first Shao Kahn figure, is to have him displayed on the throne like this, because over time I discovered that the bottom ball joint in the hip there, it got really stupid loose on mine, and that's why I had to use a stand for that figure, even though it would stand nice on its own, but it was just so flimsy in the hip ball joint there that it could easily fall off the shelf. So I'm not gonna make that mistake with this figure. I will display my Shao Kahn standing. If I can straighten his legs out real quick here. I'll most likely have him standing on the throne like this or some sort of pose, but keeping him displayed sitting on that throne, it's not gonna happen. Not knowing what I know about the first figure, so yeah. Another thing I noticed, as with the first Shao Kahn figure, you can't get his hips 90 degrees out from the body. You have to use all the joints through the body to make him sit down on the throne. And even that won't make him sit good at the throne. Because if I turn the throne sideways there for a second, and you're not gonna see this, but the seat part, the edge of the seat is right between this attachment for the chains and on the inside of this half column piece on the front there. It goes right in here. And yeah, and then you have the teeth on the skull on the back of the throne there, sitting pretty far forward. So there's about over an inch of space between the back of the throne down there and the front of the teeth there that the figure can't sit on. So it basically has almost 2 inches, if I can get it right, between my fingers there to sit on before the teeth hits the back on the Shao Kahn figure. So the knees will always stick quite a bit out on the front there. But the throne is really beautiful though, and it is a nice scene prop piece for photography. But it takes up a huge amount of space on the shelf. It's wide, it's deep, it's tall. You got to find a good spot for this one, which means it's probably not gonna be the same shelf you display other Mortal Kombat figures on. And yeah, I will probably just have mine posed up on the throne like that. If I can't find a room for the throne, I'm gonna use a stand like I did with the others, and I'm gonna settle with that. But yeah, so far I've been very happy with the Mortal Kombat figures from the Storm Collectibles. I have Nightwolf up next for review. I have the Mortal Kombat X Goro up for review, and I have the Shiva figure sitting in my pile of loot at Big Bad Toy Store. And those are probably the end of this Mortal Kombat line, due to Warner Brothers and Discovery and Storm Collectibles and the thing with licenses. Unless Storm Collectibles can get the license back, then it's the end of this line of Mortal Kombat figures. And we probably will only see third-party figures in various scales, various engineering and stuff. But as long as Storm doesn't continue with this line, nothing will look good with the rest of the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat figures. You will clearly see the difference, and the difference is going to be too huge for them, in my opinion, for the figure, any new figures from other companies to fit in with this line. So yeah, that was it for this Mortal Kombat 9 Shao Kahn figure by Storm Collectibles. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And as always guys, go nuts in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye.